Good morning students. Welcome back to your computer class. In our last class we have learned two types of control statements. One is selection control statement, another one is looping control statement. But in today's class we will learn another type of control statement which is jump statement. So what is jump statement? Jump statement is a statement which transfers the flow of control from one statement to another in a program. In Java we have three types of jump statement. One is break, next one is continue, and last one is return. So break is a statement which is used to transfer the control either from the switch or to the loop to the statement following the containing block. Containing block means if it is in loop, after the loop. If it is in switch, after the switch. And continue statement is used to send the control to the beginning of the containing loop. Why it is containing loop? Because continue statement can only be used in loop, not in switch case. And return statement we can use anywhere in a function to return the control from the containing function to the caller. To the caller means the function from where this function is called, where the return statement is written. So one by one we will learn. First let us discuss about break. The break statement can be used either in loop or in switch. Break statement when we use in switch, it sends the control after the switch block. And when it is used in loop, it skips any code after it and terminates the loop, bypassing the loop normal conditional test. When a break is encountered inside a loop, the execution of the loop terminates and control passes to the statement following the loop code. So let me explain this break statement taking one example. Assume that in one program we have to calculate the sum of 10 numbers, 10 positive numbers, and user will enter this 10 positive number during the execution of the program. So it will take the number one after another and keep on adding that number to the sum to find out the sum of 10 numbers. Now anytime if user enters any negative number, the program will stop calculating the sum and it will give the sum of all the positive number till now user has entered. So how to do that? So at first you have to declare one sum variable to calculate the sum of 10 numbers. Now after that you make one loop which will execute 10 times to take 10 runtime input, I equal to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. Now inside the loop you display one message using system.out.print enter number. So this line will execute 10 times to ask 10 inputs, 10 input to a variable n. So we will take runtime input. Assume that the scanner class object is already created. So I will use that scanner class object which is SC suppose. Next int. This will take one runtime input. Now as it is in the loop which will execute 10 times, so this line will also execute 10 times to take 10 inputs. So all this input one after another will store in n variable. Now we will calculate the sum of these 10 numbers. So sum plus equal to n. And after the loop we will print system.out.println sum equal to s. Now here user will enter 10 numbers. So what I told, we will only accept positive 10 numbers. So if any time user enters negative number, how to check that? If n less than 0, then the input number is negative number. For that negative number you write break. So this break will execute if the condition is true. That means if the input number is negative, this break will execute, and due to the execution of this break statement, this loop will terminate, and after the loop it will display the sum of all the positive number till now user has entered before this negative number. Clear? So this way we can use this break statement in any loop, for loop, in while loop, or in do while loop. Everywhere the break statement will terminate the execution of the loop bypassing this normal loop conditional test, and it skips all the lines after it. That means the statements after this break statement inside the loop will not execute and loop will terminate. That means control will come after the loop to execute the statements if any after the loop. Now when we will execute this program, suppose first time user is giving 2 for n. So that 2 will be added here. Sum was 0, 0 plus 2 for 2. Then next time again loop will execute, again it is asking one number, user is entering suppose 3. So that 3 is also not negative number, so break will not execute, this line will execute. Sum plus equal to n. That means sum was 2 plus n is 3. 3 plus 2 for 5. After that, for the next execution of the loop, user has entered suppose minus 7. So for that minus 7, this condition is true. So break will execute So loop will terminate, and after the loop we are displaying the value of this age as sum. That means it is displaying 5. Clear? Now instead of this break statement, if I write here continue, then what will happen? What I told about the continue, it is the statement inside a loop which forces the next iteration of the loop to take place, skipping any code following the continue statement in the loop body. In while and do while loop, the continue statement returns the control to the conditional expression that controls the loop. But in for loop, the control goes to the iteration expression. Iteration expression means update expression, and after that it will go to the conditional expression. So this continue statement behaves differently with while, for, and do while. Now, if I write here continue for, what I told, continue statement just like for will skip all the statement after it inside the loop, but it sends the control to the update statement first. And then from update the control will come to the conditional statement to recheck the condition for the next iteration. So here in the last program, if user gives any negative number, continue statement will execute. That means that negative number will not be added with this sum, and it sends the control to this update statement. So I variables will be updated by +1. Then after that control will come here to check the condition. That means if we make the loop for 10 execution, the loop will execute 10 times for the execution of the continue also. But it will skip the code which is written after continue inside the loop. So here if the input number is negative, continue will execute, which will continue the loop again, where user will be asked for the next number, which again will be checked for negative. If it is not negative, then it will be added with sum, and for negative number again the loop will continue. That means 10 times loop will execute, and if user gives 3 positive number, that 3 positive number will be added with this sum, no negative number will be added, and after that when loop terminates we are getting sum. And if user gives all positive number, so 10 times loop will execute, and all these 10 positive number will be added to the sum, and we are getting the sum of 10 positive number. But if user gives 2 positive number and 8 negative numbers, so it will give the sum of 2 positive number. Clear? Now if I convert this for loop to while loop, then what will happen? I less than equal to 10, this was the condition before, and here last statement will be the update statement for loop control variable I++. See here now, this is the initialization statement which will execute before the loop, this is the conditional statement which will be evaluated 10 times, and this is the update statement which will increase the value of this loop control variable by 1 every time for each execution of the loop. In this case, when this condition will be true for the negative number, the continue will execute, and this continue will not send the control to this update statement, it will send the control to this conditional statement. That means it is keeping all the line after it, update statement is after it, so it will not execute, so conditional statement will be checked. That means due to the execution of this continue statement, the number of execution will be increased. You have made the loop for 10 execution, but it may execute more than 10 times for the execution of this continue statement. So how many times continue will execute, that many more times this loop will execute. Clear? And for do while also same way, the continue statement will send the control to the conditional statement. So here in while loop condition is at the beginning, and in do while loop condition will be at the end. So control will go to that conditional statement. Okay. Now another way also we can use break and continue in loop. That is break a level or continue from a level. So let's have a loop. A for loop in I equal 3, I less than equal to 5, I plus plus. In a loop int j equal to 7, j greater than equal to 1, j minus 1. Print j. Then close this for loop. Here system.out.println, nothing, only to bring the control to the beginning of the next line. Now if I execute this loop, what output we will get? First time i's value is 3. So for 3, this inner loop will execute 7 times for all the value of j from 7 to 1. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over. Then println will bring the control here at the beginning of the next line. Now the outer loop will execute for 4 value of I. Again this inner loop will execute 7 times. 7 to 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then println next line. Last value of I will be 5. For 5 again this inner loop will execute for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clear? So this is my output for this program. Now I can give a label to this loop. How to give label? Only you write the label name. Any name you can give. Like I am giving here OL for outer loop. And it must be followed with colon symbol. And here inner loop also you can give a name. IL for inner loop. Colon. Now here I can check one condition. If j is equal to I, then break. If I write only break, what will happen? It will break the loop which contains this break statement. So here we have written the break statement inside this inner loop. So this will break this inner loop. So when j is equal to I, then only the loop will terminate. So first time i's value is 3 and j loop will start its execution from 7. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. When i's value is 3, that time j is equal to I, the loop will terminate. That means this inner loop will not execute for 2 and 1 value of j. Then println next line. Here I is getting its next value 4. Now again inner loop will execute from 7 to 1. So 7 it will print 7 first, then 6, then 5, then 4. When it prints 4, so that 4 is equal to I4, yes, the loop will terminate. Then println for next line, then I++, last value of I, which is 5. For 5, again this loop will execute 7, 6, 5. After 5, it will not execute because 5 is equal to the value of I, which is 5. So break will terminate this loop. Over. So this is the output of this code. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Next line 7, 6, 5, 4. And in last line 7, 6, 5. Now instead of writing this only break, I can write break IL. So break IL for IL is the name of this loop. It will break this loop. So no need to give this break IL because break is written inside this loop and this is the loop which break will terminate. So why to write IL unnecessarily? But I can write break OL. That means for the true of this condition, this break statement will break this outer loop which is named as OL. So when first time this inner loop will execute for 3 value of I, it will display 7, then 6, then 5, then 4, then 3. For 3, this condition is true. 3 is equal to value of I which is 3. So break OL will break this outer loop and due to the termination of this outer loop, inner loop will also terminate. That means this will be the only output for this case. Clear? So this like name we can give for any loop. So this name is actually the label for the loop. Anytime from anywhere we can refer that loop by that name. And label always will be followed by colon. Understood? Now return keyword. This is the keyword which is used to terminate the execution of the function in which it belongs to. And it sends the control to the caller, means the function from where this function is called, where the return statement is present. So this return statement can be used in two ways. One return statement we can use in void function only to return the control from the function to the caller after terminating the function, and another return statement can send a value from the function to the caller. So that is for returnable function, means non-void function. If the function is int function, the return statement must return one integer value to the caller. If function is string function, we have to return string value using return keyword from the function. So return, then the value to be returned to the caller. So that means whenever return statement executes, it terminates the execution of the program to return the control to the function. Sometimes with control it sends the value also to the function from where it is called. And another statement is also there which is system.exit 0. Anywhere in program we can write this system.exit 0 to terminate the execution of the program. Return statement terminates the execution of the function. Maybe your program has multiple functions. So returning from one function doesn't mean the program will terminate. It sends the control to the caller where the remaining statement after that call in the caller method will execute. But whenever this system.exit 0 will execute, it will terminate the execution of the full program. Maybe your program consists of multiple class, multiple functions. Full program will be terminated. Clear? So break will terminate the block in which it belongs to, Return will terminate the function in which it belongs to, and system.exit function will terminate the program. Clear? These all are jump statement. I hope you understood this program. You must do practice of all these jump statements in BlueJ in your home to understand these jump statements. So today up to this much. In our next class we will discuss about the math functions. Till then, bye. Have a nice day.